Record. All right, welcome everybody to our CBD class tonight. And my name is Britta Dimmler, and I'm super excited that you guys are here and thankful and grateful that you chimed in or tuned in tonight. And if you're watching this on a replay, feel free to get back with me or to whoever shared the videos with you. And we would love to answer questions or just have a chat with you. So we are talking all about Nature's Ultra tonight or about CBD, right? And I'm excited to talk about how a plant can impact your body in a positive way. And we already know that plants can do that because most of us are using essential oils anyways. And I will tell you that, well, we're going to dispel myths tonight, knock down fears, and answer a couple of dozen questions on how this incredible plant, which is a hemp plant, affects the human body. Your answers and information will come from science, research, and facts. And we are training on Nature's Ultra CBD, which is infused with Young Living essential oil. And I truly do believe that this is the best CBD on the market because of the authenticity of how it's grown under our seed to seal standard and how it's transported to your cells using the tiny molecules of essential oils as its delivery system. I will tell you, I was a substance abuse counselor, drug and alcohol substance abuse counselor back when I was working full time. And when I first started hearing about CBD, I was like, oh, nope. It's got that I know is going to be bad. There's nothing good about it because I knew all about marijuana. And I will tell you as a counselor from a counselor's view, sorry. I was so glad to learn about the differences. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to get you guys, I know the screen off here. I was so happy to learn about the differences of what Young Living truly offers to us. Okay, and that it's not marijuana at all. Okay, so we're going to get into that. So CBD seems to be a miracle worker. And actually, I'm just going to show you this video. I don't know what it is. We're going to find out. So hang on. Okay, so, sorry. All right. Oh my goodness, I can't get off of that. Okay, so what is CBD used for? And it really does seem to be kind of a miracle worker. And if you don't know what to do, it's kind of like with oils. Sometimes we say just use frankincense or just use lavender, right? And many people would say just use CBD. So there are a lot of significant studies on CBD for dozens and dozens of things, from resting, so relaxation, sleep, to stress, to pain relief and discomfort, to, gosh, you name it, they probably have studied it. If you think it might be for you, or if you're not sure if it covers your thing, then I encourage you to do some research. So type in what you're looking for. So whatever the word is or the symptom, and the word CBD in DuckDuckGo is what I would recommend, and not Google, and then check out the latest science. The study of CBD is so new that studies are being released by the week, you guys. Every week they're being released, which is pretty dang amazing. Okay, so is CBD marijuana? A lot of people want it. They believe it is. And when I first heard about CBD, I was like, nope, no way, because I 100% thought that it was probably maybe not marijuana, but very, very close to that. But let's just deal with this right now, okay? Because once we start learning about this, I think you're going to understand a little bit more. So the hemp plant is a cousin to the marijuana plant. And think of sweet corn versus field corn. A lot of us are from the Midwest, and we understand, hopefully you understand that. totally different. You're going to eat the sweet corn. You are not eating field corn, because that is what they are feeding to the animals. It's hard and it is not soft and sweet at all. It's also what they use to replant. Okay. So hemp is a parent plant and cannabis is a scientific name for that plant. And I want to just talk about in the fields, the hemp is like, it grows really tall and marijuana is short. Okay. So they're very different plants. They have very different constituents. One of the things that really stood out to Kirk and I when we first started learning about CBD is that the hemp plant actually cleans the ground. Okay. So all of the chemicals or the contaminants, whatever, good or bad, in the ground, in the soil, the plant is absorbing all of that. And the hemp was actually planted a lot of times in fields to clean the field, and then they could plant other things. Okay. So when you think about that, if you're having these huge plants and the field is full of toxic chemicals, let's say, and then they harvest all that hemp and they throw it in their distillers or whatever, however they get it, you're getting all those chemicals that the plant cleaned out of the ground in that as well. So it's very, very important that we know who our farmer is and where they're getting these their plants and how they're grown, because you don't want to add extra chemicals into your CBD, just like we don't want to add extra chemicals into our essential oils, right? Okay, so both hemp and marijuana contain cannabidiol or CBD. The marijuana plant was hybridized to produce more than 40 times the amount of THC, which is the chemical responsible for making you high. Okay, so we don't want THC. Hemp, on the other hand, has a very low amount of THC. In fact, for CBD to be legal, it must have less than 0.3% of THC. Young Living CBD has 0.00% THC. And that means that anybody taking a drug test can take it and routinely pass tests because there's no THC in our CBD. So why are we scared of CBD? And we've been trained in the US to be scared of it because of the legal climate. And again, I bought into that as a drug and alcohol counselor. I bought into that for years. The legal issues with hemp started with the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 that taxed cannabis. It had nothing to do with hemp being dangerous, but it shifted the mindset of people to think of it as marijuana because it comes from the same family of plants, right? So all to do with politics and where the money's coming from. So a little bit of a history class here, or a history lesson, I guess. Hemp was used for making paper and clothing, and it was in direct competition with certain businesses. The owners therefore set out to make it illegal. And hemp is actually one of the oldest cultivated crops of all time. It's been used for medicine. It's been used to make rope, sails, and paper. And its history goes back over 6,000 years from China to Rome. And even in the United States, early Jamestown settlers observed the Powhatan Indians growing hemp in 1607. Colonial farmers could be fined by the British government if they did not grow hemp, because the British needed it for sailing. And early drafts of the Declaration of Independence were written on hemp paper. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the history to understand why people are a little bit freaked out by this.
CBD may be getting mainstream attention for the first time, but it doesn't mean that it's completely new. In fact, CBD has a long, fascinating history. The first documented use of medicine derived from cannabis dates all the way back to 2737 BC. But while the cannabis plant has been around for a long time, the recognition that it's comprised of unique compounds called cannabinoids is much more recent. During the rise of modern medicine, cannabis was largely unrecognized by the medical community due to the lack of scientific evidence of how it worked, or even if it worked at all. In 1839, however, an Irish physician and medical researcher named William O'Shaughnessy published a study exploring the effects of cannabis. He also described the possible medical applications of which helped set the stage for future research. In 1940, chemist Robert Kahn identified the structure of cannabis plant in an individual cannabinoid, cannabinol, CBN. Then in 1942, American chemist Roger Adams and his colleagues successfully isolated the cannabinoid for the first time, cannabidiol, CBD. 2 years later, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, was isolated for the first time. You will likely recognize THC as the psychoactive compound of the plant that causes euphoric effects. That's going to be important later, so keep that in mind. Once scientists understood that there were multiple cannabinoids and were able to isolate them, research into how individual cannabinoids work began. In 1946, Dr. Walter S. Lowe conducted tests using cannabis on lab animals. He noted that THC caused psychoactive effects on the animals, while CBD did not. In 1963, Dr. Raphael McCoolum took this research a step further and discovered the stereochemistry of CBD, followed by the stereochemistry of THC 1 year later. This revealed a direct relationship between THC and the euphoric effects associated with cannabis and distanced CBD from the mind-altering compound. Unfortunately, stigma surrounding the cannabis plant due to the psychoactive euphoric effects often caused by THC led to restrictions on availability of cannabis, even for academic purposes. It became very difficult to do research on cannabis because possessing it, even for academic purposes, was prohibited. For many years, scientific research on cannabis, and thus CBD, was held back. While cannabis research may have been hindered by stigma, it wouldn't be defeated by it. In 1978, New Mexico became the first state to pass legislation allowing the medical use of cannabis in some form. They did so through the Controlled Substance Therapeutic Research Act, which allowed the use of cannabis through a research program approved by the Food and Drug Administration. In 1996, California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana with the passing of Proposition 215. Many other states soon followed suit. With the legalization of medical marijuana came legal access to cannabis, and that allowed researchers to dive deeper into the study of CBD. Let's jump ahead to the current state of CBD. The 2014 Farm Bill laid the groundwork for the legalization of cultivating hemp and its products, such as CBD, and in 2018, it was expanded upon. According to the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp that contains less than 0.3% THC is legal to cultivate, and products that are derived from it and also contain less than 0.3% THC are legal to sell. This means CBD is federally legal as long as it is hemp-derived and contains 0.3% THC or less. With the widespread legalization of hemp-derived CBD has come renewed interest in it, and CBD oil is now one of the most popular products in the health and wellness industry. At Nature's Ultra, we're strongly committed to creating high-quality CBD products that fully comply with regulations. We have a partner farm in Colorado where we use organic and sustainable farming practices to cultivate the best possible hemp plants. Our quality assurance system tests to ensure that all of our products contain non-traceable amounts of THC, and we publish our lab results so you can be completely confident that your product contains no traceable amounts of THC and is federally legal. That leads us to our final point, CBD's future. Because CBD is widely available now, more and more research is being done. That research will likely lead to more recognition of how CBD can help with people's health and lifestyles. We're confident that for many years to come, CBD will not just be a popular supplement, but one that offers a multitude of benefits for a wide range of people.
Okay, so when he was walking through that field, did you notice how tall those plants were? Not just when he was bent down, but when he was walking through, those plants were as tall as him. If you've ever seen marijuana or ditchweed, they're not very tall plants, okay? They're maybe waist high, so there's a huge difference in them. Many authorities predict that the hemp industry will grow by 700%. And hemp will actually, they're predicting that hemp will be grown in the Midwest as much as corn. I find that fascinating. Most Americans within the next 5 years will have tried at least one CBD product, and a high percentage will begin to use it on a regular basis, like they now use multivitamins and supplements to promote health. All right, so your body is ready for CBD. The human body, God built receptors in our endocannabinoid system to accept CBD. Those receptors circulate throughout the body, and they're even found in our white blood cells. You can almost think of the endocannabinoid system like a hormonal system. Any woman will tell you that her hormones affect not only how she feels, but also our moods, complexion, energy levels, and digestion. The endocannabinoid system affects the entire body and is a major contributor to overall balance as well. That's why you may use CBD for one thing, but find it works on other things you never even anticipated. And that's because the endocannabinoid system is throughout the entire body. And I really encourage you, because again, I was kind of like, what? They're making this system up. Stop and do something, you guys, just go Google that. And I think you're going to be really surprised at what you find and how long the research has been there, but they don't talk about it. So why use CBD over other products? And CBD is a non-surgical drug-free approach. Dr. Mark Lindholm, who has practiced as a chiropractor for 25 years, says, and this is his quote, "I believe patients should seek natural remedies first, drugs as a second approach, and surgery as a last resort." I would say if you're watching this video, you probably think similarly along those lines. Sometimes medication is necessary, but the general public is starting to understand that every drug has side effects. The fewer drugs we take, the better off we are. I always believe in exploring other avenues. I've been using and recommending supplements to my patients for more than 2 decades, and I've seen some incredible results, but nothing compared to the astounding results I began to see after my patients started taking CBD. It was life-changing for many of them. Some noticed results after 1 week. Most patients experienced the maximum benefit after 2 or 3 months. So think about that for how long you should try something before you quit, right? I'd often recommend the product for one problem only to find they would notice improvement in their overall health too. So in other words, they experience side benefits instead of side effects. Isn't that a nice thing to think about, right? So how safe is CBD? And a June 2017 literature review looked at 74 total studies on the safety of CBD and gave promising results. The biggest side effects noted were drowsiness and slight changes in appetite and weight. So one of the common questions is, will I get high, or will I be a stoner, right? Am I going to just be vegged out in front of my couch eating crackers all day? No. Again, CBD is not the same as marijuana. There is no THC found in our CBD. And in November 2017, the World Health Organization published a report on CBD at a meeting held by their expert committee on drug dependence. In all their documentation, the committee claimed that there had not been one single case globally, not one case globally, of physical dependence or withdrawal symptoms from CBD, nor any reported cases of abuse or public health problems related to the use of CBD. You guys, that is huge, okay? Because again, coming from that substance abuse background, that's unheard of to me. Hemp has passed the test of time. Some of the earliest written evidence of its medicinal use comes from ancient China, where it was administered to the emperor in 2737 BC. In 77 AD, there are records of the Romans using it as medicine, and it was popular in the Middle East and India, where it was considered sacred and used for centuries. So this, along with contemporary research, adds to the safety of hemp. Okay, so another question that's common, can I get addicted or can I overdose? And Current Drug Safety is a reputable journal with articles published on dozens of scientific sites like PubMed.gov. It's used by doctors and researchers around the globe. And this is Current Drug Safety, okay? They published a report that proves CBD to be non-toxic. And according to the article, quote, even doses up to 1,500 milligrams a day, which is about 90 times the amount a doctor would recommend, were well tolerated in humans. Now, we're not recommending or suggesting that anybody takes, 90 times the dose of anything, but in a sense, it's a sensible statement that the body will take what it wants and flush out the rest. Sound familiar, right? It's what we say about our oils. The reason CBD doesn't cause a high is because it interacts differently with the receptors in your brain than the THC does. So THC from the marijuana attaches itself to these receptors known as CB1 and CB2 receptors. And when you consume THC, you may experience physical changes such as those in coordination and mental changes such as those in your mood. You can't have these types of reactions, though, with non-THC CBD because the chemical responsible for mind-altering reactions is not present. So it's like trying to enjoy a glass of chocolate milk when you picked up a bottle of orange juice. It's not the same thing, right? Okay, so if you're still concerned, maybe even after hearing all this, the science and the other evidence, you're not alone. And a lot of that is just because of how we've been programmed to understand this type of plant and the misprogramming that we've been given. So let me put CBD this way. Are you afraid to use CBD, but not peppermint or oregano, which also have no THC? Right? So we think about it. I mean, we're using a plant and the hemp plant is a plant. And if it's grown well and in clean soil, it's only going to benefit and support our bodies. Okay. Just like, and this is a bottle of ylang ylang, just like the bottle of ylang ylang or the oils inside the bottle would do for me. Neither one would have THC and I wouldn't worry about either one, honestly. So in Revelation 22:2, it says the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. And hemp is a plant that God did create. So we don't have to fear the plants. The constituents in like peppermint oil cools us off. The constituents in CBD affect change in the body as well. Okay, so how much do I take and when? And I love how Sarah talks about this, okay? Because there's really no easy answer to this because everybody is different, but factors like your weight and height, diet, you guys, diet is huge in everything. If you are feeling really anxious or really, you have a lot of digestive problems or, you can't sleep at night or you're fidgety or any of those things, and you're not, and you're eating a standard American diet, that's got to be our first thing that we look at. Okay. We have to go to diet first. When we change our diet, even if it's just that, okay, I'm going to make small changes and I'm going to eat one fruit or vegetable every day, right? Just one small thing. I'm going to drink more water. I'm just going to drink, make 5 glasses of water and put them on my counter and make sure I drink them each day, or 3 glasses if that's where you start, whatever. If you're not drinking water and eating healthy foods, then we have to start there. Anyway, okay, so back to how much dose of CBD do I need to take? So factors like weight and height, diet, metabolism, genetics, environment, and lifestyle all affect your optimal CBD dose. There's no universal dose. So you kind of have to decide for yourself how much you're going to take, but Young Living's our droppers do come. Let me squeeze that out. It does come with a mark on it. And I don't know if you can see this, Rachel, I'm looking at your face. So if you can see this, nod your head with the markers. No. Okay. Well, there is a dropper inside and it says on there, it says 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 and 1 ml. Okay. So there's lines on the liquid droppers and experts recommend that you start with a half a dropper twice a day. So if you're going to start with, for a younger person, you maybe do a quarter of a dropper. You separate each dose by 12 hours to achieve 24-hour saturation in the body. CBD needs to build up in the body, so you may need to take it for several weeks before you see a shift. Okay. We don't know how long it'll take for you, but it's not a one and done thing for anybody. With the muscle rub, you would apply it topically, and with the roll on, you can apply it to the chest or the back of the neck or on the feet. I actually like to put it on my wrists and just try it out that way. So what makes Young Living different? In a nutshell, we have smart spectrum CBD, and this has never been done before. The CBD world speaks in terms of broad spectrum, which is the whole plant, and isolates, which is uses just part of the plant. And Young Living decided to do it a little differently. So There are 3 reasons that make Young Living CBD amazing. The broad spectrum versus isolate. So we don't do either one of those. Like I said, we went with smart spectrum. So you can't adhere to seed to seal, which is our standard of purity, if you use the whole plant. You also can't guarantee that it's 100% THC free. And that wasn't good enough for our founder, Gary Young. So we introduced something totally different called Smart Spectrum, which I'll break down in just a minute. A couple other things why Young Living is different and better is our seed to seal standard and process. And this is how we source all of our plants. They're grown with no fertilizers, no pesticides, no sulfur, no irrigation, and no dyes, and no heavy metals of lead, arsen, mercury, or cadmium in the soil. We actually, you know, if for weed control, they're using essential oils, or they're using sheep, actually. You know, they do everything naturally. And again, remember what I talked about, that hemp is a known soil cleaner. You don't want stuff in your soil that it's going to bring up into the plant. So the third thing that is different about Young Living and with Nature's Ultra is that we have terpenes in our oil. And this is in the essential oils. And terpenes carry the CBD constituents to the cells of the body. They piggyback on the oil and get delivered into the cells. So like Ningxia, they ride on the oils to get to the cells. Terpenes are why other CBD makers use the whole plant. They need the terpenes in the CBD to deliver the constituents to the cells to make the CBD bioavailable. We can skip using the whole plant and the THC part, and the stuff that we don't want, because the essential oils contain terpenes, making the CBD bioavailable for our cells to use. So I'm going to skip this little video, maybe. Sorry. Okay, so there are 7 reasons why Young Living is better than the organic standard. And first of all, we're going to talk about what seed to seal really means. So USA Organic Standard is 5% of non-organic material is allowed. You need 3 years of growing before the organic standard is met. And then 5 to 7 years after there is no more spraying, you can call the field organic. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. You may use approved synthetics for pests. So they can actually spray things and still call the field organic. Oils, only soil testing is required. You can use conventional seeds as long as they're non-GMO. Your approval board can be staffed by volunteers. So, you know, you just ask somebody to volunteer and they can say, yes, you're good to go. And there's no third-party testing required. Versus Young Living seed to seal promise and standard is that there are no pesticides or chemicals allowed in the fields where the plants are grown. Their fields must be chemical-free soil for at least 50 plus years, okay? If you look at 50 versus 3, that's a huge difference. All pest control is done with essential oils, or like I said, the sheep. Young Living uses heirloom seeds. No conventionally grown seeds are allowed. And we have over 50 plus trained scientists on staff for testing. And many of these were hand trained by our founder. And then the third-party testing is done on every batch. And for CBD, those batch results are posted. This is big, you guys, because it's not just, you know, Young Living saying, hey, this is what we found. It's that they are actually testing it, and they have lots of people looking at it with eyeballs on it to make sure. So this is, you know, and all of those things that go there for seed to seal, it's not just for our CBD and it's not just for our oils, but everything we do is held to the seed to seal premium standard. So every oil, both singles and blends, every supplement, kids and baby products, personal care products, like shampoo and toothpaste, skincare, makeup, cleaning supplies, and everything we sell goes to that standard and the seed to seal process. We don't greenwash. So when we tell you it's a clean, safe product for your family, you can be assured that that's true. And purity is really what we do. So we protect you from the farm to the bottle, and we're transparent. And this is one of the things I love about Young Living the most. And we are going to watch this little video because I love that we can go to our farms, we can see what's happening, and they're not hiding anything. Farm in Colorado.
So here we are in our farm in Colorado. We chose Colorado for our farm because Colorado has such a high elevation. There are no pesticides required. And that also ensures that your product doesn't have any pesticides. And we also chose Colorado because they are leading the way when it comes to regulation. We want to make sure that we're partnering with states that are committed to growing this industry, and Colorado is definitely at the top of that list. One of my favorite things about Colorado is our entire hemp farm is naturally grown in the sunlight. We want to be a part of the ecosystem, so that's another reason we don't use any pesticides. There are, bees and other bugs around here that actually don't harm the plant at all, and they just live here. So it's really important to us, whether it's sunlight, the well water, the soil, everything's got to be dialed in to meet our requirement product. We use organic farming practices, and we do that on purpose because the USDA has not come into the space and said that this crop can be certified organic. We're in essence complying with everything that would be required by the USDA to make our crop as organic as possible. So when they do release that certification, it's available to us immediately. And part of that for us is rotating the crop. So we'll actually put a different crop on the field in between the two harvest seasons. And that way the crop is able to pull out some of that toxins and other stuff in the dirt. It helps purify the dirt before the next rotation of hemp plants are born. There are several wells all throughout our farm here. And these wells are really important because you want to know the source of your water, because the quality of that water will dictate the quality of your plant. This is obviously something that the plants are getting on a consistent basis. If that water source is not up to the quality standards, your plant will not meet the quality standards. So all of our well water is tested and certified before we use it. After the harvest is done, the soil is still have some treatments left. And what we do is actually go back through the field and mulch the leftover stalks and any leftover hemp plant and mulch it back into the dirt. And this helps the soil get all the nutrients naturally from what's either grown and other plants that are still in there, and mixes all back up, and then you're left with a nice clean field. Everything that is in this is recycled back into it. And again, all plays back to quality. We don't go through all these efforts for no reason. We want to make sure that the moment it's planted and the seed is in the ground, that it's got the best opportunity to be the fullest plant possible.
Okay. We'll jump right on. Oops. All righty. So CBD science, we have, with Young Living, we have some of the best labs in the world. We have equipment that no other essential oil company has. We have the largest oil library in the world with documented uses of oils that date back to over 30 years and really longer than that, because Gary had an amazing science part of him, science brain, let's say. We gathered that the library, we gathered and created the library by doing our own research on oils on 6 different continents. And the way we test is truly unmatched globally. So we're going to skip that video. So how do you start? Okay. And we're going to talk about these oils or about these products as soon as I get through this part, because we can start by becoming a Young Living customer, which allows us to unlock the benefit of receiving 24% off our purchases or at wholesale price, right? So you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can participate in the Subscribe to Save program, where you subscribe to receive at least one product of your choice to be delivered to your door at the frequency you choose. So every 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. You can purchase a one-time order of 100 PV or higher. And ideally, it's most beneficial to have a starter bundle show up right at your door, and I love that we still offer these CBD starter bundles. because it's a great way to really get started with all the products and to find out, what do I love? Which one really makes a big impact on my body, and which one helps the most, right? So I usually recommend that people start with the regular strength bundles and then add extra strength to loyalty rewards programs, you know, as they work their way up. Okay. So begin with half droppers twice a day until you're maybe at full droppers by month's end. If that's something that you feel like your body needs, you really have to pay attention to your body. And the starter bundle comes with these 3 products. So it starts with the muscle rub for achy joints, a citrus dropper of CBD, and a calm roll on. So let's look at these. Okay, so here's the citrus. Oh, it says it's animated. Let's see. Start with the dropper. I don't know what it's going to do here. This is one of the most powerful CBD products in the kit. And you notice when you go to reorder that our CBD comes in 3 different flavors. So it comes in the citrus CBD, and this 1,000 milligrams is actually the extra strength. Okay, so yeah, otherwise it comes in 500 milligrams. But the 3 different flavors are citrus, cinnamon, and cool mint. If you don't get the results you're looking for after a month, try switching to a different flavor, right? So you could switch to cinnamon, or you could switch to the cool mint. The different oils in each bottle work differently with the human body, and they're pre-selected in the kit. So you get citrus to start with if you start it with the kit. But right now, you guys, we can always start with whatever we want. So if you're like, I don't really love citrus, but I really like cinnamon, you could start with cinnamon, okay? And you apply a dropper to the desired area. Oh, goodness. All right. And then the second product has rave reviews. And this is the CBD Calm roll-on. Okay, it shows 600 in the slide. I have a 300 as well, which is the regular strength. And this helps you create a peaceful environment to relax, to quiet your mind, and to unwind. It's infused with powerful oils for resting, like frankincense, lavender, orange, vetiver, and ylang ylang. And I love to roll this one on the back of my neck. You can roll it in your hairline. I have rolled it across my forehead and on my chest, even on your hands. And then you can, just like you would with oils, and then cup it and take a deep breath and see what you experience. And then we have the muscle rub. Again, this is the extra strength one. And this is a best friend of many people. And actually I have the 600 milligrams here in my hand too. Muscles can hold a grudge. So whether you've spent the day at the gym, hiking, moving boxes, maybe just lifting children, it's going to take something fierce for your body to forgive you. You guys, the other day I was out in the backyard just picking up dog poop, and oh my land, the backs of my thighs were just excruciating this week. Okay, this is a good product. So the CBD muscle rub from Nature's Ultra takes the hot and cold sensation of menthol and gives it a boost by infusing it with an array of all natural Young Living essential oils like camphor, clove, helichrysum, lemon, peppermint, tea tree, wintergreen, and a few more. These ingredients work hard together to soothe your hard-working body, and you can apply it to clean skin and massage well. So everybody likes to save money, right? Hopefully you like to save money. We save the most money by ensuring that we're taking advantage of Young Living's loyalty rewards program. This program allows us to restock our CBD every month at a steep discount. By becoming a customer of Young Living through signing up for the subscribe to save or placing the 100 PV order, you'll already get 24% discount, the wholesale discount on anything that you order. And then if you're on subscription, you'll also earn loyalty rewards, which will be another 10% off immediately on your first loyalty rewards order. After 4 months, that jumps to 20%. And then after 25 consecutive months, you get 25% off on top of your 24% discount wholesale, which is really almost half off, which is pretty darn incredible. So it's the most affordable way to order CBD, and you can subscribe and have it delivered to your door monthly, every 2 months, or every 3 months to give you flexibility with your orders. So our goal is to empower people. Sorry. Empower people to take your health into your own hands. And that means reading labels, questioning ingredients and safety, and believing in the power of seed to seal. There are some great resources that I would love to, that you could get, you could purchase or borrow just to get more information. Dr. Oliver Vinker wrote this Power of CBD and Essential Oils. This is an amazing book, especially for the people who need more science in their life. And I need more explanation. This book will answer those questions. If you just kind of want a good overview of what CBD is and how would I talk to somebody about it with a friend, the CBD Plant-Based Wellness by Cody Lynn Kaler is excellent. And then there's also a CBD Collective Facebook group that you can join to ask questions and get plugged in and to grow. So again, if this, it doesn't have to be hard. And that's one of the things that I love the most about all of this is that we all get to determine and start where we feel is right. So if you think, well, I want to try some of these products, you can try one, you can try two, or you can be, really smart and just get it all in a kit, because the kits are, they're generally an extra, probably 30% savings. And I haven't done the math on this one for sure, but it is pretty incredible. So starting with the CBD starter kit will really give you ways to use it in every way that you possibly could imagine. And, it's just a great way to start. So if you are at that point, you're like, okay, I'm ready to get started, get back with whoever shared this video with you. Let them know that you're ready to get started so they can give you their member number or customer number, and you can be connected with them, and that because they want to support you. And then they will also get you connected in our community where you can learn more and participate in some challenges and have fun and just learn together. So I hope you have a great night, and thank you for joining me.